I was only 12 years old when Avatar took the world by storm in 2009. I remember leaving a basketball game at my high school to get in line at a packed out movie theater. The hype was real, but more importantly, the experience was real. From a production standpoint, Avatar was revolutionary. New technology was invented for motion capture that led to the beautiful world of Pandora. And from an audience member's perspective, it was breathtaking. Sure, the story wasn't revolutionary, but despite what any doubters had to say, many people, myself included, believed Avatar was great. Fast forward 13 years. The long-awaited sequel is finally released, Avatar: The Way of Water, and it's so close to being great. By the way, there's going to be a couple spoilers in here. From the moment the film starts, the narrative of this story is clearly different from Avatar. In the first 20 minutes, multiple subplots are introduced that were not a part of the original movie. And that's done to welcome new characters like Spider and Kiri, and to bring back old characters like Colonel Quaritch. You know, this guy. Turns out they had a backup plan to put his memories into an avatar in case he died. Classic sci-fi trope, am I right? But Jake and Neytiri, the heartbeat of the first movie, are not really the main characters anymore, as the story now shifts to focus on their children. Their kids are unique and likable characters, but you know who isn't really that likable in this? Jake Sully, the hero of the first movie. The man who was paralyzed and given a second chance to overcome his disability, the man who fell in love with the forests of Pandora, got the girl, and became the leader of the Na'vi. He does not come across as that same leader like we saw in the first movie. He's timid most of the time, always apologizing for his family's mistakes in their new home, and kind of an overly aggressive dad. Neytiri's character also takes a back seat until she's needed for some BA fight scenes in the third act. But in a lot of ways, the movie follows a formula and recycles a lot of concepts from the first movie. There are near identical scenes of a highly emotional Neytiri mourning the loss of a loved one. They also take the incredible music scores made by James Horner for Avatar, and they reuse them in the same manner to build emotional responses. Even the opening and closing shots in The Way of Water are identical to Avatar. From a visual standpoint, the experience was surprisingly, well, odd. One thing you should know about me is that I love chocolate. That sweet cocoa flavor and sugary goodness that just melts in your mouth. Have you ever had too much chocolate in one sitting and felt sick to your stomach? It's in those moments you learn that too much of a good thing isn't a good thing. My wife and I saw The Way of Water in 3D, and it looked amazing, but it looked too amazing. Sammy didn't notice it, but there was something about the motion that looked a bit off to me, and it could be the fact that I've been a gamer for over a decade now. Now, you're probably wondering, what does gaming have to do with movie making? Well, a lot of big budget video games nowadays feature highly cinematic cutscenes outside of the gameplay. They're designed to create a realistic atmosphere in whatever world you're playing in. Now, watching this movie felt like I was watching one of those epic cutscenes, but for 3 hours and 12 minutes. In interviews with director James Cameron, he's talked about pushing the boundaries of the cinematic experience with Avatar 2. One way he's doing that is by using something called high frame rate technology. We're about to get into some real technical stuff, so just go ahead and buckle your seat. First off, the film industry standard for shooting a movie and releasing it in theaters is 24 frames per second. For The Way of Water, the action and underwater sequences were shot at 48 frames per second. This method of filmmaking in theory means double the frames, double the smoothness, right? For me, it means double the headache. The standard way of filmmaking has been in the industry for decades, so our brains and our eyes have become used to the so-called cinematic look because it's realistic. Director James Cameron is one of only a handful of directors to push the envelope to bring high frame rate movies to the theater. But there's a reason why critics and audiences push back against decisions like that. And it's because too much of a good thing isn't a good thing. With a 3-hour plus runtime, Avatar 2 definitely feels bigger and longer. There is a lot of character development of the Sully family, and lots of world building as we explore new locations in Pandora. We meet new tribes and spend the majority of the movie either in water or underwater. From a visual effects standpoint, the movie is gorgeous. James Cameron took the revolutionary technology from the first Avatar, but this time, he just put it all underwater. The creative design for the animals and the bioluminescence underwater is stunning. The visual effects is absolutely a strong selling point, and despite me being uncomfortable with the frame rate changes, movies like this are definitely enhanced by that 3D experience because of the layers of the effects. Now, I am a huge fan of the first Avatar. The visual effects, the world building, and musical score all culminated into a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I have been eagerly waiting for this sequel and have been following the updates and the delays over the years. I wondered for a while if this movie was ever actually going to be released. The question that everybody wants to ask is, does it live up to the hype after 13 years of waiting? I would say that I'm conflicted actually. Am I glad to see the saga continuing by using new technology to create exciting cinematic experiences? Yes. Do I think that Avatar: The Way of Water is the sequel that I expected? I genuinely don't think so. I can think of a handful of film series that have several years between the first and second movie where either the sequel was just as great or better than the original. But the next questions that we have to ask ourselves are, will the story value be able to exceed the production value? And will people continue to care about the universe James Cameron is spending the rest of his life to build? Avatar: The Way of Water. So close to being great. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate everyone who clicks that subscribe button. Also, like the video so it can spread to more people. Thanks for doing that. Here's more content from my channel that you should definitely watch, and I'll see y'all later.